Hey everybody, John here from the Class C Fix Series at Talladega Superspeedway. You might be wondering what I'm doing in the Class C Fix Series. Well, I raced in the A, B, and C Series this week, and this was just the best race that came out of the week. I got wrecked a whole bunch, and my safety rating took a big old beating, and so this was the best one. And honestly, the 3 series, they don't race, the 3 cars or trucks as it were, don't race that much differently from one to the other between the on this track. So not a huge difference between the 3 of them. So here we go. Talladega in the trucks. Of course, next week we'll hopefully be at Kansas. Again, I'd like to be back in the B car. But those things, they've really changed the physics on them. They are pretty loose. So who knows? We may come back down to the C class.
The race this weekend?
Because of the bigger deck lid, the bigger spoiler, they do have more downforce. They are a little easier to drive. But who knows? We'll see. Either way, we're in the C.
Shit, I'm not very
Showing
good.
you the C series this week just because that was the race that worked out the best. I'm starting in the back. I didn't qualify just because. Excuse me. I didn't qualify just because of my race strategy. Basically, you know there's going to be at least one big wreck, maybe 2 or 3, even in a race this short. I think you kind of saw that bear itself out this weekend between the Cup race and the Xfinity Series race, where in the Cup race we saw a lot of long green flag runs, not a lot of big wrecks. We had the one big wreck with Chase Elliott getting turned, which was unfortunate because I think he looked pretty fast. But you know, that was really the only big wreck in the Cup race. And then the Xfinity race just was pretty much a demolition derby. So you have kind of that big of a gap in ability level from the Cup Series to the Xfinity Series amongst professional drivers. So now just imagine what that is. If you can amplify that by about 1 billion, that's what you get when you drop it down to iRacing. So you're gonna have guys who can't stay in their lane, who can't race in these tight quarters, and I'll fully admit I'm probably one of them. This is very, very difficult to do. I'm not the biggest fan of this type of racing, but it is pretty fun. It reminds me of the rookie class at Charlotte in the street stocks a little bit, actually a lot, just at higher speeds. But here we go, we're under green, and my plan here, I'm just going to try and lay back. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a wreck up there. I just want to be back far enough where I can dodge it here in the first couple of laps. I really don't want to get aggressive with anything until we're at least 10 laps to go. There's no sense because what normally happens with these things is here you can see 2 guys just get kicked out of line there. What normally happens with these races is you have, at the end of the event, you'll have maybe half the field, maybe less, who can actually run at race speeds. And you'll have a late caution, and so you'll have 7 or 8 trucks or cars together, and that'll be who's deciding the race. And you want to be in that group. So that's the goal. Doesn't matter where you're running right now, you want to keep your truck intact. So basically you're playing a survival game for the first 15, 16 laps of this race. So that is where we're at. So it's a completely different animal than anywhere else you drive. Excuse me again, I'm really a bit under the weather. Talladega was a fun track to watch this weekend. Like I said, the Xfinity race was a little disappointing. I don't like to see that many wrecks, especially when it takes out the majority of the field. So I really don't know what to say about the Xfinity race other than, boy, there were a lot of wrecks. I wonder if it wouldn't be worthwhile for NASCAR and for the teams to change the rear bumper of those cars. You saw the rear bumper, and it's not straight. It's at an angle. Oh, I thought somebody was wrecking there for a second. That's why I backed out. I saw somebody shoot up to the top of the track. But if you look at the back bumper of those Xfinity cars, they kind of almost come to a point. And so they're very difficult to push, and that's part of the reason why they get so loose. And here we go. Here's the big first crash, and luckily I'm far enough behind where I can get behind or get around the chaos without getting caught up in it. So mission accomplished thus far. We're through the first one. So we're okay thus far. But I know NASCAR's really reluctant to change anything like that.
Come on, 18. I mean, you just
because it would really, it's a cost to the teams. You know, they don't want to change parts on the car because it costs the teams a lot of money, especially in the lower series. However, with as many cars that are getting torn up, we saw at Daytona this year and now at Talladega, I wonder if it wouldn't be worth it for NASCAR to be like, hey, for the Xfinity series, at the Superspeedways, we're running a flat bumper, so you can push without completely just spinning the car out in front of you. Because that seems like it might be a little cheaper to just replace the bumper or change the geometry of the bumper than to wreck the entire field 4 times a year. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I was not a math major in college, but it seems like it might be a little cheaper to do that. Because we saw this at Daytona too, where it seemed like any time somebody got, and it's not even guys getting too aggressive with pushing, it's just guys pushing and all of a sudden somebody's sideways in traffic and it causes a massive pileup. So you don't like to see that, and some dude just missed his pit stall. That makes me feel a little better about myself.
7, do you have a mic?
We'll see what happens. So I don't know what to say about the Xfinity race just because there was nobody left. You know, by the end of it, there's nobody left in it. So, meh, I guess, is what I could say.
Line up single file.
Let's see what happened here to cause this big pileup in this race.
20 to go.
Here you go. We already kind of heard somebody complain about the 18. You see, he steps out of line, catches the 6, and around he goes, and then chaos ensues. Ruins a lot. Looks like at least 4 cars really caught it hard. This gives you a little better look. I don't know if he got loose or if he was looking to change lanes or what happened there. But yeah, there was those 3 involved, and then somebody else hit the inside wall really hard. So, sucks for them. But that's what happens when you race up front here.
Yeah, I could.
Like I said, my safety rating coming into this race was like a 2.7. I'm an A license, like 2.75 or something like that.
All I tried to do was just stay in line.
Which is not great. But it dipped down to like a 1.17 or something like that during the week. And through some hard work, I was able to get it back up over 2 again. And hopefully through the season I'll be able to get it back up into the respectable range over 3 again. But yeah, this track, if you're concerned, if you are new to the game and you're concerned with safety rating, skip this week. Skip the super speedway weeks because you're not getting out of them ahead. You're going to get caught up in incidents. You're going to get caught up, and it's really no fun to race. You can start on pit road and race on the other side of the track as everybody else, but that's not any fun. You want to be up here, and you can play this. This strategy isn't really what we're talking about. I'm kind of playing a game where I want to be there at the end and try and win the race. You can start on pit road and then, you know, kind of just run around and stay well away from everybody the whole race. But that's no fun. I didn't buy iRacing to not iRace, so that's just my 2 cents. But, I mean, just remember it's Talladega. None of us know what we're doing, really. Nobody's a professional. None of us are Dale Earnhardt.
I shouldn't be blinking mine either.
Yeah, I'm not really ready to get aggressive yet. I'm gonna wait. I still think there's probably another one. We're still early. We still got probably, what, 15 to go. And they're looking pretty racy up there. I'm just not... I still think there's going to be another caution. So I'll let them spin each other out here. Then hopefully I can dodge it and then be there at the end. And be able to push for those last few laps. The Cup race today was pretty interesting. It was a different Talladega race.
Clear high.
In that normally at Talladega, the leader is a sitting duck. Normally the guy out front really has to play... Oh, there they go. Already. Normally the leader really has to play defense.
All right, man. Caution is out.
And that's going to bring out the caution flag.
Pit road is closed.
Normally the leader really has to play defense, but in this case, today, it seemed like whoever got out front really could stay out front. It seemed very difficult to pass the lead vehicle, no matter who it was. It seemed like you could kind of swap as long as they were a decent car. You know, you could swap whoever it was. I'm pretty sure you could have put any relatively fast vehicle in front of the pack, and they'd have been fine. Let's see what happened here. Here we have the 5. He tries to push it 3 wide down the backstretch instead of staying in line. Again, it's probably too early to do anything like that. He's got no help, and that's what happens. That is what happens when you try and go 3 wide in iRacing 9 times out of 10. Nobody here is good enough for that, especially when you're bobbing and weaving all over the track like the 5 was. You have to be able to hold a line if you're going to go 3 wide. Yeah, it was a weird race because Denny Hamlin got out in front via pit strategy and just stayed out in front. Nobody could pass him. Then he got shuffled back and kind of never came back. You know, then Kyle Busch got out front and he stayed out front. So it seemed kind of like whoever was out front was just there, and cars the draft could get up to them. They couldn't get by them, and that's a little different than it was has been in the past at Talladega at the super speedways.
We have 10 to go this time.
So I don't know if that's a product of the new aero package, of the restrictor plate. I really don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure that one out.
Stay high. There's no on the low side. Clear low, clear low.
But either way, you saw Kyle Busch's displeasure at the end of the race when he said next week we'll get to a real track at Kansas, which was an interesting comment, implying that Talladega is not a real racetrack. I think a couple guys with the last name of Earnhardt would disagree with you about that. It is different, but the thing is, and now you can see now I'm actually starting to push here a little bit. Now we're getting down to go time.
Stay low. You're in 5th place. Good job, man.
So that was kind of funny. It's always funny to me when you see the petulant Kyle Busch come out, the childish guy come out again when he loses. He was leading. He didn't think he was going to get past. And it was nice to see Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Jack Roush get a win. I've never been a Roush fan. I think he, in fact, I've rooted hard against Jack Roush in the past. But, you know, they've fallen off so much. And it's kind of nice to see them back up running well again. It's nice to see them get a win. And that's been a long time coming. That did not come out of nowhere. Stenhouse has been running well for the last few weeks on a lot of different kinds of tracks. And, yeah, that was well deserved. So it was good to see him and good to see Roush in victory lane. Nice to see a new face. And it's weird to say Jack Roush is a new face in victory lane, but the fact is, he hasn't been in victory lane for a long time. Probably since Carl Edwards ran for the championship, what?
All clear, all clear.
3 or 4 years ago.
Good boy.
So, kind of funny for me. Always funny when Kyle doesn't get his way. Nice to see a new driver win a race. The other interesting thing that's happened in NASCAR recently, I haven't been able to talk about it, has been Dale Jr. announced his retirement.
Stay low. You're clear
This
high,
is not a
clear
surprise. It's a surprise to me that it didn't happen last year, but it's not a surprise that it's happening. The question, I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the sport. And you can be saying, oh, wait, John, how can the most popular driver in the sport leaving be a good thing? Well, stay with me. The guy has a history of concussions. He's got health problems. He's leaving under his own terms. We don't want him to leave. We've already seen one Earnhardt leave racing the wrong way, right? We really don't need to see, it'd be really bad for the sport, and we really don't need to see as fans see another Earnhardt leave the sport in a bad way again, whether that be through, I don't think it would be as severe as someone dying, but it could be as severe as saying, yeah, Dale Jr.'s been injured so badly he can never drive again. That would not be good for NASCAR. This is much better. Dale Jr. leaving on his own terms, saying, I'm ready to retire, is the best way this story ends. So I think it's a good thing. I applaud him for it. You know, I'm a Dale Jr. fan. I wish he would race longer, but given the reality of the situation, I think he's doing the right thing. So it's going to be weird not having a Dale Earnhardt on the track, because I've been watching a Dale Earnhardt of one, a senior or a junior or both, on the track my entire life. But life goes on, right? We've got all kinds of exciting young drivers to watch. There's Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. I can only think of those two. Ryan Blaney and you know, the young kid, what is his name? Eric Jones. You know, all these young kids who are coming up. And speaking of young kids coming up, the big question now is who is going to drive the 88 next year? I don't think Hendrick is going to get rid of that car. I don't think they're going to go down to 3 teams. So who's going to drive the car? A lot has been said about Kyle Larson coming into that car. I don't think that's going to happen. Larson is too loyal to Ganassi. I've heard a lot of interviews with him, and Ganassi gave him a chance when nobody else would, basically because Larson could not bring sponsorship into, he did not come with guaranteed sponsorship. And Ganassi basically recognized his talent and said, I'll take you regardless. I'll sign you regardless, and we'll figure the money out later. And Larson is very grateful for that, and rightfully so. And I think is going to remain very loyal to Chip Ganassi. And he said he wants to drive for Chip Ganassi forever. So I do not see him jumping ship. I don't see him being eager to jump ship. Not to mention the fact that right now, the Ganassi cars are running better than the Hendrick cars. So the other name, of course, is the young William Byron, who came up out of iRacing. Won 7 races in the Truck Series last year and is now in the Xfinity Series. However, is still very young. I don't think it's going to be him. I think he's probably going to end up in the 5. I think he's going to take a couple years in the Xfinity Series to really get. You know, you got to remember the kid's like 19. He's going to take a little while to develop. And I think Hendrick knows that, so he's going to... There's a long-term plan for William Byron, I think. The guy I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about is Alex Bowman. Bowman came in and filled in for Junior last year and did a really good job. Almost won Phoenix, led a lot of laps, nearly won that race. And then now does not have a full-time ride, does not have a ride at all, actually, and is just working for Hendrick Motorsports at their simulator program. So you're talking about a guy who could, excuse me, I could be, or I'm going to pass the 14 here. You're talking about a guy who could get a ride. A guy comes into the highest series, performs that well. He's had offers. He could have gone somewhere. He could be driving Xfinity for somebody else. He could have jumped into somebody else's pipeline or maybe even into a cup ride with somebody else. He chose to stay with Hendrick, maintaining their simulator program. There you go. I come in 5th here, which no damage, no wrecks, pretty good. Not a bad race. But I really have to believe that there's a reason for that. I really think he stayed at Hendrick knowing that there was a seat for him in the future. And that's just, maybe that's just me. But I don't know that Alex Bowman stays with Hendrick running their simulator if somebody hasn't told him, hey, you stick with us and put your time in, there's going to be a job for you in the future, you know, in an actual race car.
Yeah,
but who knows? That's just me.
Oh, I thought we were going to hang together, but...
Anyway, fun race here at Talladega, coming in 5th. This place is always fun and always hazardous. Next week, we're going to be at Kansas, back in the B car. Until then, guys, keep it out of the fence.
I was kind of hoping that you were going to come with me, 16. You did that, man. I would at least had a shot for the win. Not sure.